Hello, and welcome back to Mondays with Melissa. I am so excited that you are here. This is my second episode, and I realized that last week I covered quite a bit of my story and just a little bit of who I was. And this week I really wanted to come to you, and I really wanted to equip you with some healthy holiday hacks because I know that being a recovering sugar lover, because remember, I help women break free from sugar and stress eating so they can be calm, confident, and in control. I know what Halloween through January 1 looks like in the world of sugar, right? We had Halloween, we had Thanksgiving, and now we're getting ready for Christmas. So I wanted to come and I wanted to share some healthy holiday hacks with you today. And if you are in my Facebook group and you participated in the Healthy Holiday Baking Series, I'm sharing a little bit of that information, but I'm also sharing some additional tips as well. So if this is familiar to you, that's why, but I promise stay with me and I'll give you some new information as well as a goodie at the end. So I want to cover from the Healthy Holiday Baking Series, just some healthier substitutes for flour and sugar. So, we are probably baking more, we might be doing more cookies and fudge and cakes, and a lot of these sugary, floury, calorie-rich treats wreak havoc on your body and quite possibly the scale if they're eaten regularly enough. Now remember, we had October 31st to January 1st, so that's a good solid 2 months at least, right? So the good news is that it doesn't mean that you have to forfeit baking altogether to avoid health adversities. So I really want to give you some simple swaps in ways that you can still enjoy the sweets and treats that you love, but just have them be a little bit healthier. So I want to give you some white flour alternatives. And these are gluten-free because gluten is one of the top 7 foods that cause inflammation, and inflammation can cause weight gain. There's a myriad of things that it can do on the body as well. Gluten is also linked to anxiety. So if you're like me and you tend to be a little more on the anxious side, you might want to try cutting out gluten. And I have resources for that if you need them. But some wonderful white flour alternatives are quinoa flour, coconut flour, almond flour, oat flour. Some sugar alternatives. And on the flour, before I do sugar, my personal favorite is Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. It's a gluten-free flour. It's 1-to-1, meaning the ratio of the gluten flour to the non-gluten flour is the same. So it's the 1-to-1. So some great sugar alternatives would be raw and unfiltered honey, unsweetened applesauce, coconut sugar. I love coconut sugar. It's a low glycemic index, meaning it's not going to make your blood sugar be all over the place and make you ride the blood sugar roller coaster that we may or may not be familiar with. Grade A pure maple syrup, date paste, pureed figs softened in water. And most recipes actually call for too much sugar, and even with your substitutes being a little bit healthier, there's likely too much sugar going into your baked goods. So try cutting down on the suggested sugar measurement, and you may not even notice, especially with different spices and flavors of fall baked goods like cinnamon, cardamom, turmeric. Those are sweet, so that'll give it a little bit more flavor as well. So the next tip are some dairy and egg alternatives. And the reason for this is because dairy is a top source of saturated fat, and more people are sensitive to dairy than they realize. It can often cause digestive upset, bloating, headaches, skin rashes, and things that we think are normal, but actually really aren't. So whether you're sensitive to dairy or not, replacing dairy with an alternative can make your baking escapades healthier and even more delicious. So these are some simple swaps. And in true transparency here, we have been gluten and dairy free for at least 5 years, if not more. I think it's been more, but at least 5. So you can replace milk with nut milk, such as almond milk, if you do not have a nut intolerance. There's also oat milk, there's rice milk, there's cashew milk. There's several different varieties of milks out there. Instead of butter, you can use coconut oil. That's what I use a lot. Swap out traditional cream and use coconut milk and coconut cream instead. If your recipe calls for cheese, you might want to use a nut-based cheese. There are several plant-based cheeses out there that are actually pretty decent because we eat them. And we can actually find quite an abundance of dairy alternatives at the grocery store now. It used to be challenging, kind of when we started our journey, it wasn't as prevalent, but now it's becoming more prevalent. So let's talk about the eggs. Eggs are also filled with cholesterol. So if you're looking to lower your cholesterol levels, you may want to consider reducing eggs. So how do you bake without eggs? That's a really good question. So there are flaxseed and chia seed alternatives, and they won't provide that volume or puff look like eggs will, but by adding a teaspoon of baking powder or baking soda into the mixture, you can remedy that. So you might want to consider that as well. So just so you know, 1 egg equates to about 2 teaspoons of chia seeds. Mix them in about 1/4 cup of water and let it settle for about 5 minutes. And 1 egg also equates to about 1 tablespoon of golden flaxseed. So mix this with about 3 tablespoons of water, and again, let it sit for about 5 minutes. You may also substitute eggs with applesauce, and it sounds crazy, but that's another alternative as well. So let's talk about how to sneak in some hidden goodies while we're baking, because we're still on the baking series here. So you may want to add some ingredients that aren't called for in your recipe. There are many vegetables you can add to any recipe without sacrificing flavor. And if you can add this extra healthy benefit, I don't know why you wouldn't. So these versatile vegetables include carrots, zucchini, sweet potato, beets, cauliflower, spinach, parsnip, and you're going to want to julienne the vegetables into the smallest pieces possible, or even use a food processor to slice and dice them into tiny pieces. The smaller the better, and the more they'll go unnoticed. And if you have children, this is key, my friends. So another healthy swap I like to make is with cooking oil, because you know all too well that if you don't oil up your pan, your food is going to stick and burn. But you probably know that oil is also not the best thing for you. So you can get rid of your oil and replace it with Greek yogurt. There's actually a great non-dairy Greek yogurt made by Kate Hill. You can achieve the same results without the risks that many popular oils pose. You're also going to get more protein into your diet as well, which is a bonus on its own. So for the best health results, get a Greek yogurt that's low fat. We don't want to avoid fat-free because it won't sit right, and because a lot of times they pull out the fat and they replace it with sugar. But get a low-fat, low-sugar, non-dairy yogurt and add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda per 1 cup of yogurt you use. So those are the baking tips for sure. And I do have these over in my Facebook group, Happy Healthy Mama Tribe. If you'd like to join, I'll put a link below. You can go in, you can catch up on what we covered in there as well. But now I want to switch a little bit and just give you a holiday survival checklist. And these are family gathering survival tips. And you may or may not be gathering with family this year because of COVID. I don't know, but regardless, this is kind of a good rule of thumb anyway. So the first thing is to plan ahead. Know what is being served. Offer to bring a healthy option. Pack a healthy snack. And don't show up hungry. We know when we're hungry, we don't make very good decisions, so don't do that. Number 2 is hydrate. Drink your daily water. It's suggested to drink 1/2 of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, your goal for the day is 75 ounces. Number 3 is say no. Practice the 80-20 rule. So that looks like, being clean, healthy, following some sort of healthy guide. And I don't want to say a certain type of plan because I don't believe one size fits all, and I think we get caught up in labels, but eat the way that serves your body type 80% of the time, and the other 20% of the time enjoy. I think the holidays are a time to do that, but don't get too out of hand with it. So know that you have some, but just not too much. Taste. Check in with yourself. Would self-care be more appropriate than food? Ask for healthy options. Slow down and enjoy each bite, and savor the moment because it's really about being with family and not so much about the food. You may also, at the end of the day, you may want to consider debloating and resetting. And so what this looks like is drinking your morning lemon water. Lemon water in the morning is known to detox the system. So I always add some hot lemon water with a little bit of local honey that helps with allergies. Move your body daily. That's also going to help you avoid bloating. but you really do deserve to enjoy celebrating in the company of your family and friends. And so some healthy habits for the holiday season would be drinking that water in the morning. Dry brush before your shower. This is a way to detoxify your body. Make sure you're eating a healthy breakfast, having a morning snack, eating a healthy lunch, eating an afternoon snack, eating a healthy dinner. You need to nourish your body. You don't want to run on fumes and be exhausted. And maybe weekly consider taking an Epsom salt bath a few times a week. Maybe consider journaling how you feel, because this is all part of it. You deserve to step away from a stressful situation to focus on yourself for 5 minutes. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in the holidays and the rigmarole, and we do all the things for all the people that we neglect ourselves. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. So my encouragement is implement some of these holiday hacks, and may you have the healthiest holiday season ever. I will put links below to the Facebook group if you'd like to join that. And if you are interested in that handout for healthy habits, I will put a link and I will find a way to get that to you as well. So have a wonderful holiday, and I will be back next week. Can't wait to talk with you then. Bye-bye.